Okay, and we're live. Today we are reading Job 6, 7, 8, and 9. Um, let's see here. So, Job has been a flashback or a recap of yesterday. Job has been hit with a whole bunch of different negative things that happen in his life. And so, when we ended yesterday, his first friend, which is Elihu, I think, was giving him some interesting advice. And so when we pick up today, we are going to be talking about Job's response. Um, so in the first couple of chapters, we saw where the Lord and some of the angels or the angelic beings were having a meeting, and the Lord asked Satan, which is the word for the adversary, asked Satan or Satan where he was, and he was like, "I've been roaming to and fro," and the Lord said, "Well, did you consider my servant Job?" And so that's where it kicked off at. Job was, um, it's almost like the Lord volunteered Job to be tested or to be challenged by Satan because he was blameless. So everything that happened to Job did not happen to him because he did anything. Because the Bible starts off by saying that he was a blameless individual. God bless you.
Thank you.
That he was blameless, and so he was blameless and he was rich. Like he was a very wealthy rich man, and he had a great family, he had a happy family. His children got together. They loved spending time with each other. But you know, he was the topic of discussion. The Lord brought him up, and so um that's when it starts. So today we're going to look at how Job replied to his friend, the first friend. And so we're starting with 6. And so 6 says, "Then Job answered and said, 'Oh, that my grief could actually be weighed.'" And I'm reading from the Amplified again. Thank you. "Oh, that my grief could actually be weighed and placed in the balances together with my tragedy to see if my grief is the grief of a coward. For now it would be heavier than the sand of the sea. Therefore my words have been incoherent, because the arrows of the Almighty are within me. My spirit drinks their poison. The terrors of God are arrayed against me. Um, does the wild donkey bray when he has grass, or does the ox low over his fodder? Can something that has no taste to it be eaten without salt? Or is it any flavor in the white of an egg? My soul refuses to touch them. Such things are like loathsome food to me, sickening and repugnant. Oh, that my request would come to pass, and that God would grant me the thing that I long for. I wish that I would please God to crush me, that it would please God to crush me, that He would let loose His hand and cut me off, that then I would still have consolation, and I would jump for joy amid unsparing pain, that I have not denied or hidden the words of the Holy One. What strength do I have left that I should wait and hope?" Okay, so at this point, if we remember, Job is actually dealing with the boils. So he has all of these sores on his body. He's uncomfortable. His friends sat with him for like 7 days in silence, and then they decided they wanted to talk and tell Job that all of this came about because God is a just God, and there's no way for him to just be allowing this stuff to happen without you doing something. So keep that in mind as you're reading this. Um, that I have not denied or hidden the words of the Holy One. What strength do I have left that I should wait and hope? And what is ahead of me that I should be patient and endure? Is my strength and endurance that of stones, or is my flesh made of bronze? Is it that I have no help within myself? and that success and wisdom have been driven from me. For the despairing man, that should be kindness from his friend, so that he does not abandon or turn away from the fear of the Almighty. My brothers have acted deceitfully like a brook, like the torrents of brooks that vanish, which are dull and dirty because of ice, and into which the snow melts and hides itself. When it is warm, they are silent and cease to flow. When it is hot, they vanish from their place. They the paths of their course wind along. They go up into nothing and perish. Your counsel is as helpful to me as a dry stream bed in the heat of summer. So uh Job is now telling his friend basically, you could have kept everything that you said to me because you ain't helping me out. And you don't even know what you're talking about. So in the 19th verse of the sixth chapter, it says, the caravans of Tema looked for water. The caravans of Sheba waited for them in vain. They were put to shame and disappointed because they had trusted that they would find water. They came there and were ashamed. Indeed, you have now become like a dried up stream. You see a terror, believing me to be a victim of the wrath of God, and are afraid to be compassionate. Did I ever say, give me something, or pay a bribe for me from your wealth, or rescue me from the adversary's hand, or redeem me from the hand of the tyrants? Teach me, and I will be silent, and show me how I have erred. How painful are words of honesty, but what does your argument prove? So Joe want to know, what do you get from, what your the advice that you're telling me, because it's not helping. Do you intend to improve my words with a convincing argument? When the words of one in despair belong to the wind, I go ignored. You would cast lots, gamble over the fatherless, and bargain away your friend. Now please look at me and see if I lie to your face, for you know that I would not. Turn away from your suspicion. Let there be no injustice. Turn away my righteousness, and vindication is still in it.
I am good.
Is there what? Is there justice, injustice, or malice on my tongue? Can my palate not discern what is destructive? So he's saying,
Somebody on YouTube had asked, "How are you?" They said, "Come list us."
oh, thank you. Doing well. How are you? So he is saying, I didn't do anything. Like, you telling me that there must be a reason, but even the Lord said in the first chapter that um while Job was not perfect, he was blameless. Like, there's nothing that could be blamed on him. And he's trying to tell his friend, why are you saying these things? You know me. Like, you know that the type of life that I live. Okay, so now we're going to chapter 7. Is not man forced to labor on earth? And are not his days like the days of a hired man? As a slave earnestly longs for the shade, and as a hired man eagerly awaits his wages, so I am allotted mouths of futility and suffering. Oh, I don't care nothing about that. God bless them. And long nights of trouble and misery are appointed to me.
You up in the comments.
Thank y'all. When I lie down, because you can always find somewhere else to stop and post your eyes on live. I got bars. When I lie down, I say, when shall I arise and the night be gone? But the night continues, and I am continually tossing until the dawning of the day. My body is clothed with worms and a crust of dust. My skin is hardened and broken and loathsome, and breaks out and runs. My days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle, and are spent without hope. Remember that my life is but breath, a puff of wind, a sigh. My eye will not see good again. The eye of him who sees me now will see me no more. Your eyes will be upon me, but I will not be. As a cloud vanishes and is gone, so he who goes down to Sheol, which is hell, um, the nether world, the place of the dead, does not come up. He will not return again to his house, nor will his place know about him anymore.
Swipe
Yes.
right. Swipe right.
Huh?
Swipe right.
For what?
on TikTok.
What that mean?
That's how many.
Uh, there will I not. Therefore, I will not restrain my mouth. I will speak in the anguish of my spirit. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul. Okay. So remember that Job has just lost everything he had. Somebody explained it like it's like if you had your pension and you had $1 million in your pension and that's all you had. Like he lost everything, including his children. Now he still got his wife who was nagging him and telling him curse God and die, but he was like, no, I'm gonna complain about it, but I will not curse God and die. Okay, so I am now on verse 14. Then you frighten me with dreams and terrify me through visions, so that I would choose suffocation, death rather than my pain. I waste away and loathe my life. I will not live forever. Let me alone, for my days are but a breath, futile and without substance. What is man that you should magnify him and think him important, and that you are concerned about him, and that you examine him every morning and try and test him every moment? Will you never turn your gaze away from me? It plagues me, nor let me alone until I swallow my spittle. If I have sinned, what harm have I done to you? Or watcher of mankind? Why have you set me as a target for you? Why then do you not pardon my transgression and take away my sin and guilt? For now I will lie down in the dust, and you will seek me diligently, and but I will not be. So, once again, we know that Job does not know that there is a Job does not know that there has been a conversation between the enemy and the adversary and the Lord, and that the Lord specifically chose Job for this situation. That's why you can't always say that people are going through things because they did something. Sometimes, it's just happening. Like people ask, why does good things no, why does bad things happen to good people? We don't know. Only God knows. But in all of that, we have to remember that He is infinite in His wisdom, and He knows what the purpose is. Oh, I feel going to sleep. Okay, so now I'm going to go to chapter 8. And this is his second friend that's got something to say to him. They got some more advice. So the second friend has more advice for him. And this friend is Bildad the Shuhites. And he said, how long will you say these things? And will the words of your mouth be a mighty wind? Does God pervert justice? So he's like, God just don't do something. He wouldn't put this on you if you didn't do anything. Or does the Almighty pervert righteousness? If your children have sinned against him, then he has handed them over to the power of their transgression and punished him. So this right here, he's saying that, your kids are dead because they did something. But if you remember in the first verse, I mean the first chapter, when his kids were partying, Job would go and make sacrifices to them because he said, maybe my sons have done something that they shouldn't have done. So let me offer these sacrifices to the Lord on their behalf. What is it? Oh, you can be the moderator. Answer the questions.
Okay.
No, no, no. Don't talk because I'm reading. Answer them with your fingers on the screen. Let's see. Where was I? Okay, verse 5 of chapter 8. If you would diligently seek God and implore the compassion and favor of the Almighty, then if you are pure and upright, surely now He will awaken for you and restore your righteous place. Though your beginning was insignificant, yet your end will greatly increase. Oh, my feet is asleep. Inquire, please, of past generations and consider and apply yourself to the things searched out by their fathers. So he's saying maybe somebody in your past did something. Um, we don't know. Somebody did something. Um, Again, they don't know. They don't have access to what we have access to. They don't know that there was a conversation where where the Lord and Satan had this conversation. For we are only of yesterday and know nothing, because our days on earth are like a shadow, just a breath or a vapor. Will they, the fathers, not teach you and tell you and utter words from the hearts, the deepest part of their nature? Can the papyrus grow up without a marsh? Can the rushes or reed grass grow without water? So basically, this friend with this terrible advice, and he means well. He's telling him, there's always a cause and an effect. While it is still green in flower and not cut down, yet it withers before any other plant when without water. So he's saying when plants don't have water, they die. So you can't tell me that you didn't do something for the Lord to all this to come on you. So are the paths of all who forget God, and the hope of the godless will perish. For his confidence is fragile and breaks, and his trust is like a spider's web. He trusts in his house, but it does not stand. He holds tightly to it, but it does not endure. He thrives and prospers like a green plant before the sun, and his branches spread out over his garden. His godless roots are wrapped around a pile of rocks, and he gazes at a house of stones. If he is snatched from his place in the garden, then his place will forget him, saying, I have never seen you. Behold, this is the joy of his way, and from out of the dust others will spring up and grow to take his place. Behold, God will not reject a man of integrity, nor will he strengthen or support evildoers. He will yet fill your mouth with laughter and your lips with joyful shouting if you are found blameless. So his friend is saying, if you were doing what you're supposed to do, then the Lord will restore you and find you blameless. But you got to be honest. He telling him, you got to be honest, because you keep saying you ain't did nothing, but you got somebody lying. That's what the friend is saying. When the Lord started his conversation with the adversary, saying that Job was blameless, those who hate you will be clothed with shame, and the tents of the wicked will no longer be. Okay. All right. So that was the second friend, Bildad's. That was his answer. He had to offer his 2 cents, and so now Job is going to respond to him. Then Job answered and said, Yes, I know it is true. But how can a mortal man be right before God? If one should want to contend or dispute with him, he could not answer him in 1,000 times, once in 1,000 times. God is wise in heart and mighty in strength. Who has ever defied or challenged him and remained unharmed? It is God who removes the mountains, and they do not know it. When he overturns them in anger, who shakes the earth out of its place, and its pillars tremble? Who commands the sun, and it does not shine? Who seals up the stars from view? Who alone stretches out the heavens and tramples down the waves of the sea? Who made the constellations, the Bear, the Orion, and the Pleiades, and the vast starry places of the south? Who does great things beyond understanding, fathomable. Why I can't say that word? Unfathomable. You know what I mean. Yes, marvelous and wondrous things without number. Behold, he passes by me, and I do not see him. He moves past me, but I do not perceive him. Behold, he snatches away. Who can restrain or turn him back? Who will say to him, What are you doing? So, okay, Job is telling him, this is God. He's a big God. God can do whatever he want to do. He put the stars in the sky. He made the mountains. He destroyed the mountains if he want to. He's a big God. He don't need my advice on how to do something, and nobody's gonna ask him, "What are you doing?" Because he's God. Like, he don't need us. He don't need you. He don't need me. God will not turn his back in anger. The proud helpers of Rahab, the arrogant monster of the sea, bow under him. How can I answer him and plead my case, choosing my words to reason with him? How can he do that? For though I were righteous, I could not answer. I must appeal for mercy to my opponent and the judge. So he's saying, I must ask for mercy. I don't know what I did. I mean, what did I do? God is God. If I called and he answered me, I could not believe that he was listening to my voice. For he bruises me with the tempest and multiplies my wounds without cause. He will not allow me to catch my breath, but fills and saturates me with bitterness. If it is a matter of strength and power, behold, he is mighty. And if of justice, who can summon and challenge him? Though I am innocent and in the right, my own mouth would pronounce me guilty. Though I am blameless, he would denounce me as guilty. Though I am blameless, I do not care about myself. I despise my life. It is all one. Therefore, I say, he destroys both the blameless and the wicked. When his scourge kills suddenly, he mocks at the despair of the innocent. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covers the faces of the judges so that they are blind to justice. If it is not he, then who is it that is responsible for all this injustice? Now my days are swifter than a runner. They vanish. They seek no good. They pass by me like swift boats made of reeds, like an eagle who swoops down on its prey. If I say I will forget my complaint, I will leave off my sad appearance and be cheerful and brighten up. I am afraid of all my pains and worries yet to come. I know that you will not acquit me and leave me unpunished. I am accounted wicked and held guilty. Why then should I labor in vain to appear innocent? If I were to wash myself with snow and cleanse my hands with lye, you would still plunge me into the pit, and my own clothes would hate me and refuse to cover my foul body. For God is not a mere man, as I am, that I may answer him, that we may go to court and judgment together. There is no arbitrator between us. Who could lay his hands upon us, both? Would there, would that be would that there were. Let him take his rod away from me, and let not the dread and fear of him terrify me. Then I would speak my defense and not fear him. But I am not like that in myself. So Job is just saying, God is God. He is the one who knows what is going on. He is the one who is going to, he knows what's going on. He's the great God. He see what's going on. Who am I to question God? So 6, 7, 8, and 9, 6, 7, 8, and 9 were just Job going back and forth with his friends. So tomorrow, we'll still be in Job, and I read from the Amplified version. Again, this is the Bible that I'm reading from, and I'm reading the Amplified version. I do read the KJV as well. But when I read on here, I just choose to read the Amplified version because I like to look up words and phrases, and the Amplified kind of defines some of the phrases and the words in here in italics or the brackets. So, yeah, I hope that y'all enjoyed the reading, and I will see you tomorrow. I gotta go check on my red beans. Good night.